Power Rangers costumes are important, and this is a combination of the costume and the helmet, as both have different characteristics that make them unique. Even on this channel we had to make 2 separate videos in order to define the best helmets and the best costumes among all the teams. Today's top is a little different, as we are going to look for the Rangers separately that have the best suits, but this will also include their helmet, shield, and all the details that have their image in general. In the other videos we could not include many special Rangers because many of them do not have the same costume as the rest of the team, and that is why in this video, we will talk about the Rangers separately, although there are costumes that the whole team has. Number 10. Magna Defender. This special Ranger has the most different costume in the whole franchise, since it doesn't look like anything we've seen before, and all his clothes doesn't look like a Ranger's but like a medieval knight. This is one of the few costumes in which the helmet combines perfectly with the rest, and, if we put them separately, we could quickly identify that the helmet is from that particular costume. His horns give him a more aggressive and menacing style to let his enemies know to be afraid of him. Even when you look at this Ranger you might get confused and not know if he is a hero or a villain. On his chest he has that hexagon that makes him look like a mystical being, and because his costume looks medieval, then this combination between the past and the future makes him look magical. Number 9. Megaforce Team. As I said before, sometimes the entire team has the same costume, and the helmets are so similar that we can't choose a specific Ranger only. In the case of Megaforce, all the colors look great with this style of suit and helmet, so I decided to include the whole team in the list. The suit that I like is the Megaforce one, the one with white pants, and because of this color combination the Rangers stand out a lot. In this combination we can see the white color, the black color in some areas, the gold color in almost all the details, and the specific color of each Ranger. The theme of this series is pirates, and I think they knew how to represent this very well in the costumes. The helmets are also spectacular and go very well with the costume. Number 8. Mighty Morphin Green and White Ranger. In this position I must do something a little special, since the same Ranger has had 3 of the best costumes in the entire history of the franchise, and in order not to repeat, then I decided to include all those costumes in this same position. Tommy Oliver started with the green suit, which was very special because of the shield and the shape of his helmet. Both of those things are iconic, especially the shield, which is the most famous shield in the whole franchise. Then, he started wearing the white suit, which has a helmet that represents his theme very well, and the shield has also become iconic among fans of the series. The best thing about this suit is the combination of colors, since the white color with all those details in gold color and some things in black color to complement are one of the best combinations that we can see. In the 3rd season he started to use the ninjetti suit, which you already know is my favorite, and here we can include the whole team since only the color changes. This suit represents the theme perfectly and has a unique style that separates itself from the rest of the Rangers in the whole franchise. Number 7. SPD Shadow Ranger. This is one of the most impressive suits we have seen in the last 30 years, and the material looks different. It does not seem to be the typical spandex suit, and it has many details that are made of another material. I really like the color combination, and the black color with the red details are impressive, but that blue color gives it the superhero style. The helmet looks spectacular, and the entire design is worthy of a very powerful Ranger. Number 6. Kat Ranger from SPD. In this same SPD team there is the Kat Ranger, which has a white and orange outfit with black accents. There is always a debate between the color designation of this Ranger, since the video games place her as an orange Ranger and the comics as a white Ranger, but in the series, this was never specified. The important thing is that this costume is spectacular, The helmet has a great style that represents her feline theme very well and the colors match very well. Number 5. Lunar Wolf Ranger from Wild Force. The best thing about this costume is the helmet, as we can say that it is one of the best designs we have been able to see in the entire franchise. The helmet perfectly represents the theme of the series and also its animal, which is obviously the wolf. That silver color represents the colors that wolves normally have, and the entire costume design is also spectacular. Number 4. White Ranger from Wild Force. This Ranger's helmet is also one of the best Power Rangers helmets out there, and I'm sure every fan has it on their list of best helmets. The color scheme is spectacular as she is a white ranger but has pink accents that give that feminine style to the entire design. The helmet perfectly represents the theme of the series, and you can clearly see the design of her animal. The gold color has always combined perfectly with the white color, so this ranger has one of the best combinations and designs in the whole franchise. Number 3. White Ranger of Mystic Force. We know there are a lot of White Rangers on this list, but the reality is that this Ranger's costume couldn't be left out of this top. From the first moment you look at this Ranger, you can tell that she represents a mystic being, and you can easily recognize that she must have a lot of power or a special power. The helmet of this Ranger is full of mystery, but being a white-colored suit, it inspires you enough confidence to have peace. The shield of this costume is very original, and the snowflake symbol on the helmet gives us some detail of her powers. Number 2. Zeo's Gold Ranger. In this case, I don't care which Ranger used this costume, the important thing is that the whole costume is spectacular, and we must accept that it must be among the best costumes in every fan's list. The color scheme is simple, black with gold details, and that gold color is quite shiny. The design of his shield is one of my favorites as it perfectly represents the theme of this season, and the gold knee pads is something quite original. This Ranger's helmet has also been very iconic in the franchise, and for all these reasons this costume is one of the best we've seen. Number 1. Dino Thunder's White Ranger. From the first time I saw this costume, I couldn't believe how awesome and stunning this costume is, and there's no way anyone can say that it's not one of the best costumes in the entire history of Power Rangers. The entire design makes him look like a super powerful and wild ranger, plus the color scheme is perfect. It may seem a bit simple since it only has white, black, gold, and red, but the impressive thing about the combinations is knowing how to put the colors in the right places. The red helmet visor makes him look very menacing, and obviously we must remember that this Ranger started out as a villain, so the suit is perfect for being an evil Ranger as well. The shield matches perfectly with the entire costume, and I like that the white color is from the helmet to his boots without interruption. The best thing about this costume is all those spikes that represent dinosaur teeth, and the most amazing thing is that they are all over the costume. There are so many options and so many spectacular costumes, that's why this list was so hard to make. The Power Rangers are known for having a variety of awesome weapons and incredible outfits that fill them with power after each transformation. Still, there are times when this isn't enough, and sometimes Rangers have to resort to something extra. For these difficult moments, some Rangers have the possibility of using special armor that helps them with more power, more weapons, and more protection. These armors are called Battlizers, and in this video we are going to present you with the best 10 in the entire history of the franchise. What I'm looking for in all of these armors is for them to be powerful, look good, and actually be useful. As I always say, this is my opinion, and I invite you to write your favorite Battlizers in the comments. Number 10. Tri-Battleized Armor by Ninja Storm. The first thing to say is that this armor has two modes, The first one is ground mode and the second one is flight mode. Let's talk about the flight mode since it is the most complete and dynamic. This armor is used by the Red Ranger and has a design with a falcon symbol, wings, and some parts in gold color. This armor provides a sword and a small shield in the hand. The advantage that this armor gives to the Ranger is that it increases his speed and strength, besides having a very powerful laser final attack. Unfortunately, this armor has very little resistance since Lothur could easily destroy it. Number 9. Triassic Battlizer by Dino Thunder. This armor is used by the Red Ranger and has a spectacular color combination in its design. This armor gives the Ranger a greater elasticity to be able to fight with greater mobility. In addition, it has two cannons on its shoulders that have a great final attack that destroys everything. The good thing about this armor is that it has several powerful attacks in addition to those two cannons. Number 8. Super Megaforce Gold Mode of Super Megaforce. This armor is used by the Silver Ranger of Super Megaforce, and it is important to say that this is the 6th Ranger of this season. With this armor, the Silver Ranger can combine the power of all the 6th Rangers that existed before him. His weapon becomes an anchor and has the power to make a final attack called Legendary Final Strike, which is very powerful as it contains the energy of all those Rangers from the past. The only downside of this armor is that its design could have been better. Number 7. Red Battle Warrior from Time Force. This armor is used by the Red Ranger, Wes. I want to start by highlighting the design of this armor. All the elements it has plus the color schemes look excellent. This is one of the few armors that gives the Ranger extra protection on the helmet. The giant sword of this armor can create a circle of fire that turns into an impressive final attack. The best thing about this armor is that it gives the Ranger a lot of protection. Number 6. Red Battleized Armor by In Space. This armor is used by the Red Ranger and was the first Battlizer armor shown in Power Rangers. With this armor, the Ranger has more strength, more weapons, and the ability to fly. It includes very powerful missiles and a force field for a more secure protection. This armor can increase the strength of the Ranger as it has robotic parts that can be seen in the chest, besides having a system in the head to aim better and never miss. Number 5. Red Sentinel Ranger from Operation Overdrive. This armor is used by the Red Ranger, and even though this series is one of the worst in the whole franchise, they did it right. We can start with the awesome design that this armor has with its gold-colored parts. It has two powerful swords that can shoot energy blasts. The best thing about this armor is its final attack, as it can create a tornado, and after several slashes there is an explosion that destroys any enemy. Number 4. Shogun Mode of Super Samurai. What I like the most about this armor is that all the Rangers of the team have the opportunity to use it after reaching the highest level of mastery of its symbolic power. This armor comes from the ancestors, and only 3 Rangers could use it in the series: the Red Ranger, the Pink Ranger, and the Blue Ranger. The design of this armor is an impeccable combination of what a true samurai and a Power Ranger is. The power of this armor is so impressive that there can only be one Ranger at a time with this transformation. Number 3. Dino Night Mode of Dino Fury. This armor gives extra protection all over the Ranger's body, but due to its design the Ranger still has a great ease of movement. With this armor the Ranger increases his power and strength as he can fight much more powerful enemies. The final blow that the Ranger can give is so powerful that it needs a lot of energy and can only be done once, but when the enemy receives this attack is out of combat. Although this armor was used by the Red Ranger, it can also be used by other Rangers, and the key was used by Void Knight to create his armor. Number 2, Red Dragon Fire Ranger of Mystic Force. This armor is used by the Red Ranger and has wings that can be stored like birds do. This allows the Ranger to fly, when necessary, but also to fight with better movement and ease without the wings becoming a bother. The design and colors of this armor is one of the best in the history of the franchise. It has 2 powerful staffs to launch different attacks including fires, lightning and spells. Number 1, SPD Battlizer Sonic Mode by SPD. This very powerful armor used by the Red Ranger is one of the most complete as it is combined with one of the best weapons ever, the Rick Dog. This robotic dog becomes a protective armor that is divided into several parts to protect different parts of the Ranger's body. In addition to this, the head and spine become a powerful sword. This armor gives more strength and speed to the Ranger, plus its final move is that the sword can launch energy blasts to destroy or trap the enemy. The design of this armor is very intimidating and is still very much in accordance with the theme of the series, that is of police. In these 30 years of history the franchise has presented us with many Power Rangers, but there are some that have stood out for some details, and because of this, they have managed to change history forever. These details are not only things that have been achieved in the history of the series, but also in the history of the franchise because they have achieved a change in the fans. I want to start with the best known of all, and obviously, Tommy Oliver, which remains the most famous Ranger in the history of Power Rangers. This character was the first evil Ranger, and so far, he is the longest continuously leading Ranger. His leadership began as the White Ranger in the 2nd season of Mighty Morphin and ended in episode number 19 of the Turbo season, which gives us a total of 138 episodes. Obviously, this is not counting the 10 episodes of Alien Rangers, since that season is considered part of Season 3 and is named as a mini-series within the original series. Another record that this character has is that he has appeared in 8 different seasons and is the Ranger who has appeared in the most episodes, surpassing 235 episodes. Besides this, he is also the Ranger with more color changes, since he has used green, white, red twice, and black, which was his last color. He has been the first in several things, such as being the first Ranger to become a mentor, the first Green Ranger, the first White Ranger, the first Ranger to use red in 2 different teams, and the first leader of a team that was not red, although later he started to use it. All these records are incredible, but the best thing that Tommy Oliver has is the confidence that he provokes in people, since everyone wants to follow him, and because of this, he has become the legendary Ranger. The next Ranger in this list is Kendrix Morgan, the Pink Ranger from Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, and the Ranger who gave her life to save everyone. All Rangers risk their lives constantly, but Kendrix decided to sacrifice herself in order to save everyone, and this is one of the most impressive things a Ranger has done in the entire history of the franchise. This character is so important that Hasbro recently released his new action figure, even though Lost Galaxy products are not the best sellers. Many mention Kendrix in their list as one of the favorite Rangers, and her personality won the hearts of fans. After the death of this Ranger, the story changed so much that the power was given to Coroni, who was a villain and is also Andros' sister. Speaking of Andros, this Ranger is next on the list and was the Red Ranger of the In Space season. This Ranger made history because of his bravery, his leadership, and all his Ranger skills. Obviously, what made this Ranger change history was the destruction of Zordon, because even though it seems like an easy thing to do, it really isn't, since Zordon has always been like a father to all the Rangers, and this was basically like having to destroy a beloved family member. All of us fans know about this event, and it has marked a before and after in the history of the franchise. Even in the last season they mentioned this event, since Zordon's shockwave has been something that marked the life of the whole universe, including the villains. Even though Zordon is the protagonist of this event, that would not have been achieved without Andros, since he was the one who had the courage to break the tube and save the universe. Andros' influence on Power Rangers fans is so great that we can say that he may be one of the most famous Red Rangers in history, and his weapon is one of the most loved by fans. The next Ranger is Amelia, the first Red Ranger to be for a full season, and we must emphasize this as many fans still do not understand this concept. There have been other leading female Rangers for a full season, but none are red. We have also had red female Rangers who have also been leaders, but not for a full season. So, Amelia has been the first female Ranger to be a leader for a full season using the color red. I hope you have understood this and are not writing the wrong things in the comments. We should give credit to this Ranger, as she started out as the first pink Ranger we saw in her season and ended up being a Red Ranger leading her team. Opinions are divided, but I loved Amelia's participation as a Red Ranger, and I think she did an excellent job delivering blows with that hammer. The next Ranger belongs to that same Dino Fury team, and we can't leave out Zayto, the first Ranger with that color that no one can decide the name. This Ranger is possibly the first Ranger in the history of the Power Rangers universe, since for now, no one knows if the Rangers started before this event, when the Morphin Masters gave the power to Zayto and his team. This also makes him the first Red Ranger and team leader in the entire history of the Power Rangers timeline. Let's remember that I'm not talking about our actual timeline, since obviously the first Ranger we saw in 1993 was Jason, but I'm talking about the Power Rangers universe timeline. Another impressive thing that Zayto did is that he is the only Ranger in history to become a Morphin Master, and so far, no one knows how it happened, but it is suspected that it was thanks to Zordon. Next on the list is Billy, the Blue Ranger from Mighty Morphin, who also appeared in Cosmic Fury as the mentor of that team. This Ranger is so well known that we don't have to dwell too much on his story, but we can say that he has achieved such a great impact that this power has reached outside the TV series. The actor who plays this character has been so important that he got them to create the special episode, and even though they did not want to use the script he had written, we all know that the whole episode was thanks to his idea. Billy is the second Ranger with more appearances in episodes, surpassing 200 episodes, and he was the only Ranger of the original team that was in the whole Mighty Morphin series. The last Ranger on this list is Justin, the Blue Ranger from Power Rangers Turbo, and I apologize for not showing his picture as a child, since YouTube changes all the video settings when children appear. The reality is that this Ranger started in the Turbo movie to replace Rocky, who had hurt his back and could no longer help his team. In the series, this event is not so important, even though it was rare, but outside of the series it was awesome for the fans. Some loved this decision to turn a kid into a Ranger, and others hated it as they say it is something absurd. The production said at the time that they wanted a child to become a Power Ranger so that the child audience would feel that they could be a Ranger and feel more connected to the series. Obviously, this didn't work out for them because Turbo has been one of the most hated series by many fans, but I don't think Justin's was the reason for this. Write in the comments other Rangers that have impacted history, like this video and subscribe to Impact This Power Rangers channel.